everybody, A to Z of energy, day one. Okay, why am I doing this? Because I did some market research, as I do from time to time in my business, and I spoke to over 30 people, and I was asking them, were they doing this and have they done that, and what's worked for them, and what they feel like their greatest challenges are. And then I got into asking them, so do you use any kind of energy modality in your business? Do you do anything to clean up your energy, etc., etc.? And it was amazing, and I was quite shocked to hear how many of them said no. First of all, they didn't know the first thing about energy, or even that they have an energy system, and even less that they can use it to influence the things and the results that they're getting in their business, and even the way they make their decisions in their business, how they get their clarity, etc., etc. So when I dug a little bit deeper, they said it's because they really don't understand about energy. So I've done this series before, and yeah, it would be great to just find the videos and repost them, but I thought I would do it live again. So today is the letter A, and it's the thing about the world of energy. It is so vast, and there is so much. And then it got down to, what do I include as energy, and where do I draw the line, because there is so much. So I am literally giving you the edited highlights here, in the hope that it will encourage you to dig deeper and find out a little bit more, or you can just get in touch with me. It's quite simple, but the stuff is out there, and the knowledge is out there, very, very easily available with Auntie Google these days. So if anything kind of sparks your interest or makes you prick up your ears and, oh yeah, I was wondering about that, then, as I say, either get in touch with me or just go and Google things. So we're starting with the letter A, and as I said, edited highlights. I can't fit in everything that's under the letter A to do with energy. So I'm picking out, if you like, not even the most relevant ones, but I think the ones that people can either relate to most easily and start to adapt and embody and bring into their life and their practice. So I'm going to start with abundance. Okay, what is abundance? So we hear all this, world of abundance, world of abundance. It's a concept there is more than enough of everything in the world, and it's infinite and it will never run out. Great. Well, if I can sort of make it more easily assimilated by explaining that it's the exact opposite of like a scarcity mindset. So when people think that there isn't enough, and oh, woe is me, and there's not enough to go around, and we're all going to struggle, abundance mindset is the exact opposite of that. It's that, there's plenty to go around. We just have to open up to receiving it. We have to just focus on the good things, etc. It is a mindset, and it takes work to get it healthy, shall we say. So there are a lot of things you can do to improve your abundance mindset, but it's an energy thing, and it's about finding out deep down inside of you where your resistances are to having an abundance mindset, because it's not a natural thing to everybody. Yes, some people are born with it, some people are not. So you've got to find out why, because everybody deserves it. Absolutely everybody deserves it. And if you're not having it, the only person stopping you from having it is yourself. It's not anybody else's fault. It's not the fault of the system, or well, I suppose it is to some degree, because it's the system that makes us think that things aren't abundant. So it's about finding out where those resistances are and why you're not in flow with the concept of abundance. And I've just realised that I better explain energy, hadn't I? If I'm talking about resistances and reversals, this is really important, because everything is energy, and you've heard people say that. So what are we saying when we're saying everything is energy? Well, if you were paying attention at school, you will know that energy can only be in one of three states at any given time. It can't be sort of like halfway here and halfway there, or somewhere in the middle. It can either be in flow, so your energy is flowing, it's going in the right direction, everything's great, or it can be in resistance, and that's when it can't quite flow properly. There are things in the way, there is something that's like built up that's holding it back and allowing maybe just a trickle to come through, or something like that. So this is scientific, but you can apply it verbatim to things in your life. And then the other one is in reversal, and that's where it's flowing in exactly the opposite direction to how you want it to go. So translating that into our lives and our experiences, it's quite easy when you're in flow and your energy is, I'm coming on to alignment in a little minute or so. When you are in flow, everything's working out, you're coping and everything is abundant, etc., etc. When you're in resistance, it's like your results are hard won, everything's an effort, you're working really hard, but you get knocked back and you don't know why, and it can get confusing and it can start bringing you down. When things are in reversal in your life, it's literally it's a train smash. It doesn't matter what you do, everything just falls apart. You like lose everything that you've worked for, etc., etc. Filling the blanks. So that's energy in a nutshell. So when we're talking about abundance, it's that kind of idea that there is more than enough to go around, but if you're not getting it, there's some resistance to it somewhere, because absolutely everybody deserves it. It's everybody's birthright, and if you're not getting it, you need to ask why. Where are your resistances? Okay, so moving on from there to affirmations. I think, am I doing it alphabetically? I think I might be doing it alphabetically. Why do I think I'm doing it alphabetically? Okay, I will explain, because I'm actually reading from the notes of my book on the A to Z of energy. Okay, so this is literally the edited highlights from my book. So affirmations are little sentences or phrases that you repeat over and over and over again, like a mantra, and I'll come to that again under a letter M, I suppose. So affirmations are these little things that we kind of put in place to shift our vibration, our energy, into a more positive place. And they do help. They do take a while to work, and that's because just saying them isn't enough. You do have to do the work on your energy to find out, why do you need to say them in the first place? Why don't you know you're awesome? Why don't you know that you deserve abundance? So it's about working on the resistances first, and then the affirmations will have a lot more effect. But they do work and they do help. And let's face it, anything that stops you thinking a negative thought is a good thing. Okay, so that's what affirmations are. They're little phrases and things that you say over and over, either out loud or in your head, that affirm what you would like your beliefs to be. But remember that while you're saying the affirmations out loud or in your head, your subconscious programming is still running the if you like, the opposite affirmation. Can we call it a defamation? I don't know. If your subconscious is running the exact opposite program, saying affirmations in your head is going to be a really, really long, hard slog up the mountain, and the face of the mountain is like that instead of like that. So do the work on your energy, and then affirmations will work a lot quicker and a lot more effectively. Because if you're saying out loud, "Oh, I'm rich and wonderful," but deep down inside that you're saying to yourself, "No, I'm not. I'm a sad sack. I've got no friends and I've got no money." The affirmation is up against it. There's resistance to the affirmation, so hopefully that explains that. And then the next one on my list is Akasha or Akashic records. And this is the concept that every single one of us and everything that we build, and so so our jobs can have an Akashic record, our businesses can have, our relationships can have an Akashic record, but they're all connected to our own Akashic record. And this is the concept that everybody has, if you like, an astral book of life, of their life. And it's not just this life experience, it's all of their lives and all of their existences from the dawn of time, past, present and future. So there has been references to this in the Bible, in the Old Testament, so it's not a new concept at all. But the actual word Akasha is a Sanskrit word, and it means sky, or up there. Think of it as the cloud, the iCloud, or whatever you want to call it. And in different contexts, it has different meanings. Sky, ether, and I mean that in AETHER, the ether. Is where people consider that it exists, but none of that is important really. What is important to know is that everybody has one of these books, or these records, and anybody can access it. And we used to do this quite naturally back in the day, until we got embroiled in what we thought was technological advancements, and I mean things like the plough. You know, so before that, we could access our records quite naturally, day in, day out, and get answers to questions, and also it's just a place of peace as well. So, you know, when you can go and visit the Akashic records, you are the general belief is that you are met by a guide who will show you around, but even that guide is actually part of you. It's your record, but there are ancestors and guides and what have you in there that will support you in your search for whatever questions you're looking for in the records, and kind of hold you in that space. And a lot of people go there when the world is becoming overwhelming, and they're not necessarily on a search. They just want to go there and be at peace with, you know, their truth, if you like, because that's what it is. And it's also important to note that when we do any kind of psychic reading, or we do a tarot, or, you know, the divination cards, oracle cards, or any way that we try in this physical world to access information from another plane, all of that information, you know, in your tarot, in your psychic reading, etc., etc., all of the information is derived from your Akashic records. It's your truth, if I can put it like that. So yeah, if you're looking for answers and you're using tarot or oracle, etc., etc., consider learning how to go, you know, cut out the middleman and go straight to the source. That's all I'm saying. So that's the Akasha or Akashic records. So moving on to alignment. I've spoken a little bit about alignment being when you're in flow with things. And alignment, the actual word itself, just means when everything is where it's supposed to be. Either if that's in a row that way or that way, you know, when all your ducks are in a row, that's alignment. And when things are out of alignment, when things aren't where they're supposed to be, that's when you start getting, you know, emotions coming up that you need to process. Events are happening around you that you need to deal with that you might consider to be negative, and you've got to take your focus away from one thing that maybe is a good thing that you want to do, that's filling you up, and it's in flow, and you have to come over here and deal with something that's out of flow or out of alignment. So that's what it's all about. And it's important to know that alignment is something that can be nurtured. It's something that is, if you like, it's an inside job. And when you are in alignment, it means that no matter what happens outside of you that appears to be out of alignment, it doesn't derail you and your personal alignment. And by keeping your own personal alignment healthy and, you know, in tip-top shape, you deal with and navigate the things outside of you that are out of alignment with grace and ease and aplomb and elegance, and you don't react to things and you don't go into panic mode. You just deal with things. You can make better decisions, or you can choose to kind of put it down for a while and think about it, or get help, or, you know, navigate things and deal with things in a much more supportive way that supports your own well-being. So that's alignment. Ancestors, let's talk about ancestors. Why not? So this can be looked at in a couple of different ways. For instance, I channel my ancestors, and that means I get some information and knowledge that you know, I haven't looked it up in a book. I haven't gone on anti-Google and typed in the words in the things. Sometimes I do, based on the things that they tell me. From my personal point of view, they don't tell me things, they show me things, they show me pictures, they take me to a place and walk me around and show me a situation, and kind of it's kind of obvious to me what their concerns are about this without words. They don't need words, they kind of put it all in my head. And, you know, for people, when this kind of thing happens, it can be quite daunting, it can be quite overwhelming. And at one point for me, it did get like that, because I had all kinds of people who wanted my attention, and it wasn't in my best interest. So it got a little bit overwhelming and a little bit confusing, a little bit frightening sometimes. So that's me and channeling my ancestors. And there are a lot of other people out there who also channel their ancestors. And if you think that you might be one of these people who is getting messages, then you know, get a guide to help you, because it can very quickly take over and become less than ideal, is what I'm going to say. Yeah, I had quite a negative experience, and it was only by getting a friend to help me that I managed to sort out who was there for my best interest and not their best interest, or in the best interest of mankind or humankind. So you do your own sifting and sorting and fiddling it all out. So the other way to look at ancestors is that we all inherit things from our ancestors. We inherit, you know, where we live, we inherit how we look, we inherit how we behave, we inherit you know, our energy in a lot of ways. So if we are born into a family that have, you know, that scarcity mindset, we are going to adopt that. It's going to take work to shift from that we've inherited and then had it play out in our physical experience. It's going to take some doing to shift from the scarcity mindset into the abundant mindset, and that's just an example. You know, we inherit traits from our ancestors, but we also inherit wisdom from our ancestors, and but you know, we are trained by society to ignore this, and that's when we become less connected to our intuition and our imagination, which frankly we do desperately need in any kind of society or species. Are we the only ones that have intuition and imagination? I don't think so, but we are the ones that can actually put things into action, and we can develop things. So we like to think that we're so technologically advanced and we're really, really clever, and we put a lot of store in, you know, these advancements and scientific developments, etc., without actually giving the credence and the credit to the fact that it was intuition and imagination that started that rolling. If you can't imagine something, you're not going to go looking for the proof of it. If you can't use your intuition to think, well, is it this or this or this, then we don't develop, we just stay the same. So imagination and intuition, I should have done those in I'll probably do them again. So, but these are the things that we inherit from our ancestors. And women inherit a very, very special kind of thing from their ancestors. Women have a particular kind of DNA that is particular to women, and it is only passed on to other women, and that's our mitochondrial DNA. And the boffins will tell you that it's a source of energy and it does this and it does that, without ever engaging their intuition or their imagination to understand that it also carries an awful lot of knowledge and wisdom. And it goes mother, daughter to mother, daughter, mother, daughter, mother, daughter, and it has done since the dawn of time, and it's virtually the only thing on this planet that has not changed. Our mDNA that we inherited from our mothers is pure. It lives outside of the cell that carries, you know, the nuclear DNA, where we have, you know, eyes from dad, nose from mom, ears from granddad. It's completely not affected by any of that. It's not that beautiful blending of chromosomes, etc. It is pure and it is unchanged, and it carries that that women's wisdom. I mean, literally talking about it this morning to a friend of mine, we don't walk around and tripping off everybody's tongue, men's wisdom, men's wisdom. We don't, do we? Come on, just admit it, we don't. Women's wisdom is a thing, and this is where it comes from. It is passed down mother, daughter, unbroken, in an unbroken line. And you might say, well, you know, surely, you know, mothers pass it on to their sons. Well, yes, mothers do pass it on to their sons, but men don't pass it to their children, male or female. It dies with them. It actually dies with their sperm when the sperm reaches the egg. The sperm uses the energy from the mitochondria to actually get to the egg. Yeah, guys, you thought you were contributing and you thought that was your job. No, it's actually your mother's mitochondria that gets the sperm to the egg. So, you know, your contribution is literally that big. So anyway, just letting you know, this is how it is. So we don't get mitochondria from our fathers. We only get it from our mothers. And that's why we have women's wisdom. So what else are we talking about? I'm rambling on. So we're going to talk about the aura. There's loads of things. I've missed out loads of things to get to the aura. The aura, a lot of people have kind of an idea about the aura, and it's like all around us and it shimmers and it glows, and isn't it lovely? Well, yes, it is that, but it's also a recording device. And yes, it has layers. And the first layer is our physical body. And then it goes out from there in layers like an onion. And it's not my job today to teach you the names of all the layers, because depending on who you talk to, there are different names and different layers and different numbers of them. But just understand that it's your energy field, and it's going out, and it's kind of carrying your broadcast, if you like. So somebody who's standing this close to you will be picking up vibes from you quite strongly. Somebody who is at the other end of the bar, shall we say, is not going to get those vibes as strongly, but they're still in your field. So if you imagine, we've all got these fields around us. So when we're moving around, we're kind of interacting with each other's auric field and picking up vibes from each other. And this is why, you can go out to work and you're in an office, and you might have somebody on a desk 3 feet away from you, and they've had bad news or whatever, or they're just one of these people who's like constantly down. Your aura will be picking up on that broadcast. It's like tuning in. So what the aura actually does as a recording device is it records everything, absolutely every single thing that has happened to you, so that you don't have to remember it. Because if we did, we would literally explode, let's face it. So the aura stores up all this information and uses that information to kind of feed our assumptions about what's going to happen, or how our life is going to evolve, or what's going on and how we need to deal with it. Because if something happened really, really and had a huge impact, or not on you when you were a child, you formed an assumption about that based on what happened, and you aura recorded it and stored not only the event but what worked to help you cope with that event, or solve a problem. So if you were cold or weren't getting attention and you cried a lot and you got attention, your aura says, need, cry, get what you need. It's that simple. But let's face it, as we grow, crying when we're not getting attention is not really a mature thing. So we kind of find other ways to get that attention, which might not be very mature. So when we don't clean up our aura, when we don't use energy modalities to clean up our aura, we can be trapped in a kind of coping mechanism that was built when we were children. And this is just one thing that the aura does. The aura stores negative events and experiences in its layers. So when other things are coming in to you, other experiences or other people's vibrations, they've got to come to you, to your heart and soul, through all of these obstacles that happened to you in the past. So some of them might not ever get to you because there's too many obstacles in your aura to get around. So you've basically built, not consciously obviously, but you've ended up with almost like a wall where all these boulders and everything are all around you, and kind of stopping anything coming in to hurt you, but they're also stopping anything coming in that's good. So that's basically what the aura does, and it is our responsibility to cleanse our aura, to get rid of the negative experiences, to bolster up our personal aura, so that things come in, but so that we don't hang on to the negative things, so that we allow them to come straight in and out the other side, as it were. So we're no longer affected and impacted so much by the negative things that are going on around us. The aura is an aspect of your energy system, your subtle anatomy, whatever you want to call it. It is something that you as a person can have an effect on. Like if you find that you want to improve your nutrition, to improve your health, you would do something about it and change some of your habits maybe. It's the same with the aura. You can choose to clean it up and take care of it and look after it and make sure that it's bright, shiny and new all the time. But it takes work. You've got to keep doing it, just as you can't eat one nutritious meal a day and say that's it, and literally one, and then stop and for the rest of the time. So it's an ongoing thing, as is all energy work. It's not one and done. So you're always using your intuition, etc., to go to the places where you feel a little bit icky, and clean it up. Okay, and there are so many modalities out there that can help you do that. There are energy modalities, ones with energy in the title, and there are things like EFT, emotional freedom technique, or tapping. There's Reiki and things like Bowen technique, and all of these things, acupuncture. They all work on your energy system. Okay, that's what they're all doing. All right, but just in different ways. And then the last one I'm going to do right now is talk about the autumn equinox, because it's the autumn equinox. Why not? But if I can sort of relate it to other times of the year as well. So the autumn equinox is where the days are of equal, hi Sarah, equal length, and the days and the nights are of equal length. Okay, 12 hours each. But think of that as like a punctuation in the year, and to try and embrace the concept that time is not linear, it's cyclical. Everything moves in cycles. We go round and round the sun, and the moon goes around us. And let's face it, birthdays come around with alarming regularity. So what that is, it's always giving us an opportunity to work with the season we're in, work with the emotion we're in, work with what's happening with us, and the concept that it will always come back round. We will always have another chance to do the autumn equinox. We will always have another chance to do whatever it is that we've got going on. So in my view, there's no such thing as failure. It's just a lesson to be learned, to move through, to look for the lessons and the pearls of wisdom and the knowledge that's in there, so that next time round you can do a better job. So the autumn equinox is a great time for us to realise that we're coming out of the bright summer action. I mean, we're doing stuff all day, and certainly in my part of the world where we have the beautiful bright nights, we're doing stuff day and night, and we can't maintain that. So this is a reminder for us when we get to the equinox to hey, we're going to move into a cycle now where the days are going to be longer. We need to take the foot off that pedal. We need to slow down a bit. We need to reflect, and it's perfect time of year to reflect on what's happened so far. We're going into the 10th month soon. So what have we done so far this year? What has worked? What has not worked? What do we need to tweak? What do we need to adjust? What do we need to amp up and embrace more of? So the autumn equinox is a great time for doing that, and just feeling into it and giving yourself that time to semi-hibernate, because we do, as creatures of this earth, we do slightly hibernate. We get a bit sluggish, we get a bit slow. And going against that and pushing against that and thinking, unless you're somebody who sells Christmas baubles for a living, I don't know. This is a perfect time of year to reflect, to stop doing all the action, to start planning things, to start thinking things through, to start analysing, and just feeling into. It's a feeling time of year. It's when we kind of do less and feel more. So it's an ideal opportunity. Have a little think. What has gone before? What do I need to change? We need to do this. We don't need to blindly just stumble on through our life all the time. We do need to take stock. We do need to reflect. We do need to think. And in doing so, it's not a criticism. It's please put a lot of ticks in the plus column. Please focus on the things that you did achieve. And I know as human beings, we love to focus on what we didn't achieve. But do focus on what you did achieve, and focus on the things that you're grateful for, your blessings, etc. More things that I'll come to in the A to Z. So yeah, I've waffled on for about half an hour, which I think is quite long enough, but I've managed to fit in, I think, quite a few A's in the A to Z of